morning, you guys. This is Miss Richardson. This video is for my 6th grade accelerated students for the week of August 8th through the 11th. We're jumping into content this week, so hopefully you guys enjoyed having an extra day this weekend to kind of rest and sleep in, and now today you're ready to get started. So before you get started, I just wanted to kind of walk through the Canvas course with you and make sure you are taking advantage of all of the opportunities to read, to interact with the course, and to watch any videos that's given to you. So let me share my screen and just kind of go over the week with you. So this week you are complete. Now my page looks a little different than yours because I have instructor view and you have student view. But this week you should get through the lessons adding and subtracting decimals. So there you see this little icon. It looks like a link. This is the actual lesson. This is where you're going to gain your information and try your practice problems. And then right underneath it has the same name, but this time you'll see a rocket ship icon, and that's where you're actually going to answer questions for a grade. So it's just a formative assessment to show me that you understood the lesson and that you applied what you learned from the lesson. You're also this week going to multiply decimals, take the formative assessment. You're going to divide decimals, take that formative assessment. And finally, you're going to use everything you learned this week and you're going to do the mid-module check. And the rocket ship shows you that this is the assignment for your points. So if you notice, these points for the module check, the mid-module check, is heavier or has more points than the other formative assessments, okay? So one thing that Hall County doesn't want you to do for this first unit, and also this Canvas course, asks that you do not use a calculator for this first unit. We really want to practice number operation fluency. So we want to see what you can do without a calculator. So for most of the year, you will have a calculator, but I'm just asking that you do what you're supposed to do and just not use one for this first unit. All right, so I'm going to go into our first lesson of adding and subtracting decimals. Oh, I forgot to share that, didn't I? Nope. There, hopefully you can see that. So anyway, so I just want to emphasize again that you are not scanning these pages. You should be reading every paragraph, every sentence for details. So you don't have a teacher standing over you in a virtual classroom. So this is your opportunity to learn the lessons by reading and by interacting with the course and watching videos whenever possible, okay? So after you read the introduction here, right away you get some practice problems to try those. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I'm going to say begin, and immediately they're giving me some a subtraction problem to try. It looks like a plus symbol. I think that is a plus symbol. All right, so I am going to switch screens and turn on the whiteboard, but once I do that, my picture disappears, so I have to write it down real quick. So this problem right here is set up horizontally, but when I'm adding or subtracting decimals, I want everything on top of I want the decimals to line up on top of each other. So I'm gonna rewrite it. So I am going to write it this way, 76.8 plus, what was it, 24.3. Now these decimals, these numbers, these digits, they line up on top of each other, but that's just a coincidence because sometimes when you're adding and subtracting decimals, they're not going to line up. You always have to make sure your decimals are on top of each other. So for example, let's say I had a subtraction problem. Let's say I had 8.69 minus, let's say I gave you 0.421, all right? Well, I'm not going to start here and put my 1 there and my 2 here. No, when you're adding and subtracting decimals, you have to make sure your decimals line up. So I'm going to pull that decimal right there, and then I'm going to fill in my numbers accordingly. All right, so we'll go back to this problem since that's the first one in the lesson. So 8 plus 3 is 11. Bring my decimal straight down, carry my 1. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Carry my 1. 7 plus 3 is 10. So my answer is, oh, I thought it was thousands, but it's not. Let me get rid of that. I need my eraser. Okay, so my answer is 101.1. 101.1. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and finish this problem over here since I started it. So here I lined up my decimals. I have an empty space here. The only thing I'm allowed to put in an empty space, the only thing I'm allowed to put in an empty space is a 0. So I'm going to add a 0 right there, okay? So now when I subtract, can I take 1 from 0? No, I cannot. So I have to borrow from the 9, make it an 8. So now 10 minus 1 is 9. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 4 is 2. I bring that decimal straight down. And 8 minus 0 is 8. Okay, so very important. Make sure you line up those decimals. So anyway, going back to the lesson, my answer I got was 101.1. So I'm going to trade screens again. So 101.1, and my light just went out on me. Good, and I got it right. So then I'm going to go to the next problem. I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to line up my decimals on top of each other horizontally, and then I'm going to submit my answer, and I'm going to find out that I am correct. So this one is 9.1, I believe. Yep. I'm going to go to the next one. So anyway, I have 7 math problems to try right here. 7 math problems to try. So I'm going to do all 7 of those. So make sure you do every single practice problem they give you. All right, so let's say that this video maybe wasn't working right, because I have come across some videos, unfortunately, that don't work right. You always have an opportunity to show text version. So even though it's not interactive in, as far as you type in your answer and checking it immediately, you can go ahead and answer these questions, and then you still get to check them when you click on check your answers. Okay, so make sure you do that. Even if the little video or interactive part isn't working correctly, make sure you look at the text. All right, so on each of the front pages of each lesson, you're going to have either some essential questions or lesson objectives. So this helps you realize when you're done with the lesson whether you actually got from it what you needed to. So by the end of this lesson, when we get to page 6 of 6, you need to ask yourself, can I add and subtract decimals? If you can, then you've accomplished your goal of that lesson. If not, you need to go back through it, okay? Now to get to the next page, make sure you don't click down here. Make sure you stay in the module by going to the forward arrow button. And then you were on page 1 of 6, now you're on 2 of 6, so make sure that that is correct. All right, so then once again, you're going to be having a little lesson on place value. You're going to read this here. You're going to interact with it. You're going to hit begin. You're going to answer the questions. It'll read it to you. If this doesn't work,
the digit 6 is
you're going to show text version. All right. You have all of this to read. You want to look at the vocabulary terms. They're showing you that for a reason. It wants to remind you how to round correctly. So go to your rounding section. They're going to give you some important information. Being able to round correctly is very, very important. And then they give you some example problems again. Make sure you go through all of those. Make sure you click on let's estimate and then find the sum. So you want to do everything that the Canvas course gives you an opportunity to do as far as practice and information. All right, so you are going to take your time, go through this, go through all of the examples, and finally you're going to get to the end. You're going to be on page 6 of 6. This should take you a while. This should take you about 40 minutes to go through this and answer all the questions and read everything. So if you let me know you are confused and you're not sure how to do a particular lesson, and I look in Canvas and I see that you spent 10 minutes on a lesson that it tells me you should spend about 45 minutes on, then that's the first thing I'm going to tell you, is that you are rushing through the lessons and you have to take your time. You have to read through everything, like I've been saying. All right, so finally, like I said, you are done with this lesson, and you know that because you're on page 6 of 6. So now, if you remember the picture I took of everything you need to do, the next thing you need to do is take the formative assessment over this section. So this may or may not be a link. If you click on it, if I have published it, it should work. It should take you to your formative assessment. But one way to make sure you're where you should be in the module is just go back to the module button. You just finished this lesson. Now you're going to go to the formative assessment. So click on that. It's being slow. And then you don't have a preview button, but you will have a begin button. Okay. So, you know, that's my biggest encouragement to you, is just, you know, do what you're supposed to do. Read, practice, watch the videos, and you guys will go all the way through your mid-module check this week. I was planning on meeting you guys twice this week, so I have a meeting scheduled for Tuesday, which should be today at 1 o'clock. And then since today's the first day of this week, I also want to check in with you again on Friday. So Friday, I'm going to have another Zoom lesson with you, or Zoom meeting with you at 10 o'clock on Friday. So make sure you join me for that. And any other time you have any questions or problems, or you can't figure something out, let me know, okay? I hope you guys have a great, great week. Get in touch with me anytime you need to, and I will see you today at, what did I just say? Today at 1 and Friday at 10. All right, y'all have a great day.